stingiest woman alive. This woman is a woman that eats everything she could lay her hands on, and the whole village are shocked.
In the peaceful village of Umuiz, where the air smelled of roasted corn and fresh palm wine, there lived a woman called Mama Raleigh. She was famous, not for beauty, kindness, or wisdom, but for her unending hunger. When others ate one wrap of fufu, Mama Raleigh ate 5. When others licked their fingers, she licked the plate too. Even goats and chickens ran from her kitchen because they feared becoming stew. Her husband, Papa Raleigh, was a quiet man who worked from sunrise to sunset. He sold firewood, but no matter how much he brought home, Mama Raleigh's appetite swallowed everything. Their daughter, Tommy, was gentle and smart, often skipping meals so her little brother Obinna could eat. Every evening, the smell of Mama Raleigh's cooking filled the village. Yet no one ever tasted it except her. Even when visitors came, she would laugh and say, I wish I could share, but this soup is too small." Then she would carry the pot into her room and lock the door. The neighbors began to gossip. "A woman who eats alone," said Auntie Bina, shaking her head, "will one day dine with shame." But Mama Raleigh only laughed, her voice loud and proud. "Let shame come with pepper soup," she said. One day, Chief Obil, the village head, announced that a grand festival would be held to celebrate the new yam harvest. There would be dancing, drumming, and a great feast at the village square. Everyone was to bring food to share. When the day came, women carried bowls of jollof rice, egusi soup, and pounded yam. Men roasted goat meat and poured palm wine into calabashes. The air was sweet with the smell of spices and laughter. But when Mama Raleigh arrived, everything changed. She wore a bright yellow wrapper and carried a big empty plate. "Ah, Mama Raleigh," cried Chief Obil with a smile. "Where is your food?" She chuckled. "I came to taste everyone's food first. Next year, I'll bring mine." Before anyone could stop her, Mama Raleigh moved from table to table, eating here, chewing there, and swallowing everywhere. She finished a whole pot of rice from Mama Sade's table and 2 bowls of goat meat from Uncle Teo's stand. Even the children watched with round eyes as she licked the soup spoon clean. Then something embarrassing happened. As she sat to eat another piece of meat, the small wooden bench beneath her gave a loud crack and broke in 2. Mama Raleigh fell flat on the ground, her belly shaking like a drum. The crowd burst into laughter. "Ah, even the bench is tired," shouted a young boy. Papa Raleigh covered his face in shame. Mama Raleigh stood up angrily, brushed dust from her wrapper, and said, "Laugh now, but I will show all of you. I will eat more than anyone in this land, and prove I am the queen of food." The villagers laughed again, thinking she was joking. But Tommy, her daughter, looked worried. She had seen a strange shadow pass behind the trees as her mother spoke, an old woman with glowing eyes watching quietly. After the festival embarrassment, Mama Raleigh became angrier than a hen whose chicks were stolen. From that day, she swore never to eat outside again, unless she could eat more than everyone else combined. She told Papa Raleigh, "I will show this village that food is power. The more you eat, the more respect you get." But Papa Raleigh sighed. "A person who eats alone," he said gently, "eats sorrow." Mama Raleigh ignored him. She began to cook more than ever before, morning, afternoon, and night. The smell of stew and fried plantain filled the air till even the lizards in the compound looked full. Every week she went to the market and bought more yam, beans, and palm oil than any woman in Umuiz. Her neighbors started to whisper again. "Does she have 10 stomachs?" asked Auntie Bina. "Or maybe a spirit eats with her," said Mama Sade. One night, something strange happened. As Mama Raleigh finished her 5th bowl of fufu, she heard a faint voice behind her. "Share your food, Mama Raleigh," it whispered softly. She turned around quickly, but no one was there. Only the fire flickered in her clay stove. She shook her head and muttered, "Maybe hunger spirit wants to play with me." The next night, the voice came again, louder this time. "Share your food, Mama Raleigh, before it is taken from you." Fear rose in her chest. She grabbed her wooden spoon and shouted, "Who dares disturb me when I'm eating?" Then, from the corner of her hut, smoke began to twist and take shape. A tall old woman with glowing eyes and grey hair stepped out of the shadow. She wore a wrapper made of palm leaves and her voice was like wind through dry grass. "I am Mama Yu, the guardian of the village's harvest," she said slowly. "You have eaten more than your share. You have turned blessing into greed." Mama Raleigh dropped her spoon in shock. "Please, I meant no harm. I only love food." Mama Yu's eyes narrowed. "Love without sharing is hunger of the soul. From tonight, what you eat will no longer satisfy you." Before Mama Raleigh could reply, the old woman vanished like smoke. The firewood suddenly went out, and the room grew cold. The next morning, Mama Raleigh woke up starving, but it was not ordinary hunger. She ate a full pot of yam porridge. Still hungry, she swallowed a bowl of rice. Still hungry, she drank palm oil, chewed dry gari, and even licked salt. But the hunger only grew. By evening, she was trembling. "What is happening to me?" she cried. Her eyes were red, her belly full, yet her throat burned with endless craving. Tommy ran to her mother. "Mama, please stop eating." But Mama Raleigh shouted, "Leave me. I must eat or I will die." The villagers soon gathered outside her hut as the sound of chewing and crying filled the air. By the third morning after Mama Yu's visit, Mama Raleigh's hut had become a noisy sight. Plates clattered, pots boiled, and the smell of food floated over the rooftops. But instead of joy, there was panic inside. Mama Raleigh sat in the middle of her kitchen, her wrapper loose, sweat running down her face. Before her stood a mountain of food: yam, rice, beans, bread, even roasted fish. But her eyes were wild with hunger. "Bring more," she shouted at her daughter, Tommy, who was already crying. "Mama, there is no more rice," Tommy said. "Then cook gari. Fry plantain. Anything. I'm starving." Her son Obinna stood by the door, holding an empty bowl. "Mama, can we eat too?" Mama Raleigh turned sharply. "Eat. When I have not eaten enough. Move away before I bite your hand." The boy ran out crying. Papa Raleigh came home just in time to see the chaos. He dropped his firewood and sighed deeply. "This woman will eat us into the grave." Soon, word spread through the village. Children ran shouting, "Mama Raleigh is eating again. She has not stopped since yesterday." Curious villagers gathered near her fence. Auntie Bina, Mama Sade, Uncle Teo, and even Chief Obil came to see for themselves. When they peeped through the window, their eyes widened. Mama Raleigh was sitting before a huge pot, eating straight with her hands, her face shiny with oil. She was crying and chewing at the same time. "Ah, is she bewitched?" whispered Mama Sade. "No," said Auntie Bina, shaking her head. "She is just paying for all those times she refused to share." But one man, Okoro the herbalist, looked thoughtful. "This is not ordinary hunger," he said. "Someone has cursed her belly." Inside the hut, Mama Raleigh's body trembled. Every swallow made her stomach stretch like a drum. Yet the hunger only grew. She screamed, "It's not enough. I can feel the fire in my throat." Tommy knelt beside her. "Mama, please stop. Let's call Baba Okoro for help." But Mama Raleigh slapped the air, refusing. "No. I must eat. The food is calling me." That night, she sneaked out of her house. The moon was bright, the wind quiet. She tiptoed to Auntie Bina's kitchen, sniffing the air like a hungry dog. When she saw a pot of soup cooling by the window, she grabbed it and began to drink straight from the pot. Suddenly, a torchlight flashed. "Mama Raleigh!" Auntie Bina shouted. "You thief! You're eating my soup!" Mama Raleigh dropped the pot and ran, her wrapper flying behind her. Villagers chased her through the moonlight shouting, "Catch the glutton! Catch the eater of everything!" She hid behind the big udala tree, panting and shaking. For the first time, tears rolled down her face. "What is happening to me?" she whispered. "Why can't I stop?" The day of the village feast finally came. The air was filled with music, laughter, and the sweet smell of roasted meat. Everyone gathered at the village square dressed in their best wrappers. But deep inside the crowd, Mama Raleigh's eyes sparkled, not with joy, but with hunger. She had been planning all week. "I'll arrive early," she told her friend Mama Tai, pretending to help with decorations. "You know, I just love helping the community." But her real reason was clear. As the women cooked, she kept tasting every dish. Too much salt," she said, taking another bite. "Oh, this soup needs pepper," she added, scooping a big piece of meat into her mouth. Before long, everyone noticed the missing food. "Mama Raleigh, are you sure you are only tasting?" asked Ayafola suspiciously.
Mama Raleigh laughed nervously.
"You people don't know cooking like I do. You should be thanking me." But the children playing nearby had seen it all. Raleigh's youngest daughter, Kimi, whispered to her brother, "Mama is eating again, oh." She even hid some meat in her wrapper. When the feast began, everyone sat in a big circle. The elders prayed, and the drummers began to play. Food was served, and plates were passed around. But Mama Raleigh didn't wait for her turn. She reached across the table, grabbed a big portion of pounded yam meant for the chief, and stuffed it into her plate. Gasps filled the air. Chief Ajadi's eyes widened.
Mama Raleigh.
"That was for me." Her cheeks were full, but she mumbled, "Sorry sir. I thought it was for everyone." The crowd burst into laughter. Even her friends hid their faces in shame. The children chanted, "Mama Raleigh,
Mama Raleigh."
the greedy woman of Ogbata. Embarrassed, she stood up and shouted, "Enough! You people are just jealous because I enjoy my food." But her voice trembled. She ran home, leaving behind her wrapper filled with stolen meat that fell along the way. That night, her house was silent. Her children refused to eat the leftovers she brought from the feast. "Mama, why do you always embarrass us?" Kimi cried. For the first time, Mama Raleigh felt something she had never felt before, shame. She looked at her reflection in the broken mirror. "Maybe I went too far," she whispered. But before she could think more, there was a knock at her door. When she opened it, Mama Tai and some villagers stood there with a basket of food. "We brought you dinner," Mama Tai said kindly. "You don't have to fight for food. You just have to ask." Mama Raleigh's eyes filled with tears. No one had ever shared with her before. Maybe, just maybe, she didn't need to eat the world to feel full. But deep down, a part of her still wanted one more bite. That night, Mama Raleigh couldn't sleep. Her stomach grumbled even though she had eaten more than anyone at the feast. She tossed and turned, hearing whispers in the wind. Greedy hands never rest. Greedy mouths never close. She sat up suddenly. "Who's there?" she called, her voice shaking. But no one answered. Outside, the moon shone brightly over Ogbata village. The shadows of the palm trees danced on her wall like spirits. Suddenly, she saw something move in the corner of her room, a dark, smoky figure with glowing red eyes.
Mama Raleigh screamed.
"Who are you?" The voice hissed, "I am Egbir, the spirit of endless hunger. You called me with your greed." Mama Raleigh's mouth went dry. "No, I didn't call anybody." Egbir laughed. "Each time you snatched food that wasn't yours, each time you hid meat in your wrapper, you fed me. Now, I will feed on you." Before she could run, the spirit raised its hand, and Mama Raleigh's stomach began to twist and rumble. She screamed in pain. Her belly grew bigger and bigger, as if she had swallowed a whole yam tuber. "Please, stop. I'll never steal food again," she cried. Egbir's eyes glowed brighter. "You must prove it. From tonight, every time you eat more than you should, your stomach will swell, and you will feel the pain of those who go hungry because of your greed." The spirit vanished into the night, leaving behind the faint smell of burnt palm oil. The next morning, Mama Raleigh woke up weak and trembling. Her children gasped when they saw her.
"Mama,
what happened to your belly?" I had a bad dream," she said, but deep down, she knew it wasn't a dream. When she went outside, the villagers whispered. Some said she looked sick, others said she was cursed. Still, her old habits tempted her. Mama Tai came by with a small pot of beans and said, "Mama Raleigh, I cooked this for your children." Mama Raleigh smiled sweetly but thought, just one spoon won't hurt. She took a big spoonful, then another, and another. Suddenly, her belly swelled like a drum. Ah! Ah! My stomach! She screamed, rolling